emotion and the expression of it is exactly what, like, you know, where it's coming from.
It's just like, bruh, let me see. Is this...
You say you hate someone. Why? You hate so much.
Because, like, it's this endless... It just feels so pointless, you know what I mean? Like, have you ever seen that meme where it's like a jester dancing in front of the queen? That's what it feels like.
Like the king's castle.
Yes, and it's like, bro, like, I don't, like...
And it's endless, though. It's a bottomless pit of it.
It is. And, like, the more you uncover about the music industry, the more you realize how artificial all this stuff is anyway, right? Like, the more I'm uncovering. So, when I first started making music, you know what? Oh, you know what? I'm just going to make this song. I'm going to, like, you know, just put how I feel into it and all these different things. I'm going to drop on Spotify. Mm-hmm. 0 streams. Now, listen. Why is it 0 streams? That's weird, right? I mean, if I put something out on YouTube, like, if it just let it sit, I'm not talking about do any Google ads or anything. Eventually it's going to get some views.
Yeah.
Why is it on Spotify when you just drop it? It's just not there.
Controlled, man. There's an engine that will control. Have you ever seen that room where they have like a bunch of iPhones in there? And like, you'll have the machine just...
Streaming farms. Yes. Streaming farms. And like, bro, it's literally real. And it's all just about like how you're perceived. And it makes me sick. Like Apple Music, so artists have been pushing this for a long time. When you go to an artist profile on Apple Music, it's just the music. Mm-hmm. You're just like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, this album art looks cool. Maybe I'll go check it out. But on Spotify, you click on that joint. It's like, okay, you got less than 1,000 streams. I don't even get a show how many streams you got. That's not even worth it.
And it's no, I did see that. It just says less than. I'm like, no, I want to see how many, even if it's 10 or 15, that's still 10 or 15 people that, you know.
Literally. And it's human psychology, right? It's like if you see someone pop in, you're like, oh, yeah, let me check it out or this and that. But it's just like, to that, it's just like, oh, yeah, well, nobody's listening to this. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like...
And what I hate is that we are naturally have been conditioned to click on the video that has 1 million views. If somebody has like 100 views, we think, oh, it's trash. We just immediately assume it's trash, even though it's like we have a view, like the views determine if it's watchable or not.
Yeah.
And that's the issue with a lot of this stuff, man. A lot of these platforms. But I just want to say, shout out to our man. Bro, it's 8 you know what time it is. Roundtable episode 3. It's crazy. We're gonna get into it. So just how are you doing though? Like, how are you doing in life? Like, are you good?
How am I doing in life? I feel like I'm doing okay. It's so weird because I feel like we've gotten to, again, like as we were just talking about social media and stuff. Mm-hmm. I feel like as I feel forced to be on it more, I am exposed to more negativity of the world. And that's what it is, right? Like they keep you sucked into the algorithm because they keep sending you negative stuff. They play off of human empathy and emotion. So man, it's like it's starting to negatively affect my psyche a little bit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just like first thing I open Instagram, the feed, it is just like an Ice Age shooting someone. Yeah. And it's just like, exactly. Hello. You know what I mean? It's like,
and we're seeing real deaths and things that we were never exposed to as kids, or even in the 80s, where you wouldn't see these raw graphic things that we're seeing, and it does affect.
No, it does, yeah. And it's just like, I guess it's really strange because I guess part of the issue as well is that social media has emboldened a lot of people to be so far removed from it, but think that it's okay. So, for example, like the Ice Agent that shot the dude, right? Some of the comment section was like, oh, well, they shouldn't have been in the first place. Someone was like, oh, yeah, they shouldn't have been in the way. And it's just like, I'm seeing your profile picture right now. It's a picture of you with your children. Mm-hmm. You are like, you know what you're saying is wild, but you literally are not even trying to hide your identity. It's like, you feel so comfortable in not caring about other people.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's such a strange. No, we rolling real. Go take it. It's rolling real. Hello? So AJK Productions, you know what it is, you know how it is. We're gonna get it in. Oh, okay. I'm so thankful that we're able to do 3 episodes so early into the year. Well, not early into the year, but 2 episodes early into the year. Yeah. We're gonna be talking about it.
Okay. Would you mind moving your car just so she can back in, and then you can move your car back?
Okay, sorry. Wait, maybe I could just go to where I was initially. I did.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Technical difficulties. But like I said though, we back. AJK Productions, you know. So this is Lucas Azalea. You know, I got a song on this page, something that's coming. It's definitely on other platforms as well. And we got some more stuff coming out pretty soon. We were just working on it. I ain't gonna talk about that. But it's some crazy stuff. But he's like you say, you're doing. I'm glad that you're doing okay. Just going back to what you were saying, this culture right now and the way that social media is, it can mess with you up here. So he was just saying like it's kind of a little rough, but it's the same for me. I have to stay away from it, but I'm glad that you're, maintaining it at least, right? Are you working on anything? You want to let anybody know what you're working on? Anything that you want to
music wise?
Yeah, music wise, anything?
Oh yeah. This year I'm thinking about like doing a rendition of my songs like that I've already released so far. I want to make like a live instrumentation album of it. I think that'd be pretty dope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And really it's just like I think trying to get myself to perform more. I think it's one thing to be like active on social media and stuff, but like actually getting out there and like performing and stuff. I think that's something that's key to make actually people lock in and stuff like that. So
yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that's a part of the whole aspect that I don't like the idea of too much. I don't know why.
The performance
it's just
part.
I don't like performing in front of people.
Okay.
I mean, I think that'll change once I do it more. I think it's something I have to do because when I did it, I didn't mind it. It was fine. But yeah, I'll get there. But I'm glad that you want to do that, and I definitely want to support and be a part of it and be there. So
yeah,
that's gonna be dope. Let's get right into it. Let's get right into this because it's some interesting things that I've noticed and wanted to ask you about. So I was telling you earlier, right, about a situation that I had. So I was at a wedding, and before I went in there, I went up to somebody and I was like, "Hey, so is this the wedding for so and so and so and so?" And they was like, "Yeah." It was kind of like just like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then later on, like I told you, the individual, we were all just having dinner afterwards, and he was saying, the gentleman was like, "Yeah, no, when you first came up to me, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I was like, what's up with him? Like, what's going on? Like, what's he trying to do? And I was like, bro, yeah, I almost squared up with you type of thing, kind of like on that type of time. And the question that I have for you is, I noticed this is like a thing, right, in Black culture and African American, like Black Americans, right? We just have this thing where we are always kind of like looking at each other like, what's up with him and what's he trying to do? And it's always this animosity. Like, this is always just this like, we have this mentality where we just kind of see everyone as like, like a threat or what's he trying to do? What is that? Because I know I'm not blind here. I mean, I know you've probably seen it, but I wanted to know your thoughts on that. Like, why are we like that? Like, why do we do this?
That's a good question. I think that it's very unfortunate. I feel like this conversation is pretty complex because the Black community, at least in my opinion, is like the least tight knit out of a lot of other communities, and I feel like a lot of that just comes from the fact that the collectivist culture that we came from was stripped away from us. America is very individualistic, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and we were kind of taught that generationally the moment that we got here. For example, the idea of where it's like, oh, wow, okay, this slave is trying to escape. Well, I'm a slave too, and I know that me catching him might give me accolades, or like or catching him might prevent me from getting beat.
Or telling on a slave that would left. And
you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like we were literally taught to treat each other this way, to look at each other a certain way, and I feel like that kind of just like gets pushed up anyway. Or even though it comes to a job, right? I mean, I know some things. I mean, I don't know how often it happens now. But like, years and years ago, I mean, there would be a case where there's like a Black guy who's like hiring people, and they might choose to skip over hiring a Black person because he'd be like, oh, this might come off a certain way or different things. Like it's almost like you always kind of have to put down your own community or not acknowledge it in order to get yourself up. And so I don't know. I feel like there's just this internal thing of just like siding each other up, always almost like kind of thinking someone else is better and different things like that. I feel like that's kind of like the culture that not we built, but was built for us.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's very unfortunate. And I mean, and in that case specifically, I don't even know if that was specifically like, honestly, that comes off more to me as an insecurity thing. Rather than like a Black thing.
That's just my opinion. Because like if somebody comes up to me, bro, I'm not gonna be like, Because I feel like it is insecure only simply due to the fact that I know that fear is the only thing that's going to prompt someone to feel like threatened, right? Like I'm not going to feel threatened if a cat comes up to me or like a little, I'll be like, whatever, not either not pay attention to it or, be like, what's up? But like, I feel like, yeah, insecurity or fear is the only thing that's going to make you apprehensive or, like what's going on? I need to do something. It's like weird to me, I mean, but this brings on another thing. If you're at the corner store, you at the 7-Eleven, and you always sizing up a black dude when he comes in, because I've seen it. It's not a thing with other races and cultures. Black people don't be that uncomfortable around other races, but when it comes to their own, we always uncomfortable. And I'm talking about simply like the ages of like 20 and under, like younger adults, like 30, 25 under. It's like that the most in this demographic of that age, and it's like, why are we so uncomfortable and threatened? And let me just throw this at you, right? We that the music culture is always op based, and I kill him, he kills me, and this person's an op, and then he's trying to get me, like Do you think that some of the culture of this violent culture that we have could have something to do with it? Because if violence is always stirring your emotions and stirring up your vibe for the day, what do you think? Because I've seen it the most with, actually it's not even just with young people, bro, because you got to think about it. A lot of older black dudes, I kind of get a very discouraging tone and approach from them too. It's like I'm treated the worst by black people kind of the most of the time. So going back to what you said it was systematic and from maybe slavery days, and also in this country, because they did tear us apart with a lot of things that they did. But is it something else? Is it something more? Or is it just systematic? Because I think it's the music, and I think it's our violent culture, and we celebrate these violent figures. We celebrate the King Vons, and we celebrate everyone who's a murderer and who womanizers and all that. It's like, I think we carry that.
I mean, that's an interesting point, but I mean, how it's specifically affecting black people is the part where I get confused. It's the part where I have a little bit of disagreement, is because the black culture is American culture. Whenever we come up with some new slang or come up with some new music and stuff, that ends up being like the dominant thing of the US. Now, hip hop is currently technically on the decline now. It hasn't really been on like the top whatever Billboard charts or something.
Thank goodness.
But the thing is that these are people who are consuming this music all over the country. I mean, if I look up rap beef or video, just look up on YouTube, be like, oh yeah, what happened to this rapper, why they fall off. It's most likely not going to be a black person talking about it. It's some white dude that's breaking down.
And they don't act the way that we do when it comes to. So I see your point. So it's like, if other people, everyone is listening to hip hop and violent music that King Vons are putting out there of the world, and they're not acting like that towards their own, and they're not acting like that to us. But wait a minute, though. But see, here's the thing. People who are very embedded into hip hop, newer hip hop culture of the drill and the trap and the violent music, I've seen a lot of suburban, whether it's Caucasian, Asian, people who have adopted that culture as their own do act like that too, though. Like, if you think about it, they tatting their necks then, and then they going over, and then they talk like the way they talk, disrespecting people that are older, being disrespectful, and I'm serious. I'm not trying to generalize anybody and generalize people who listen to violent drill trap music. And I'm not saying that everybody does this who listens to that genre of music. Some people can separate the entertainment from their personality, but I don't know. I guess we're going to have maybe agree, disagree, because I feel like people who do engulf themselves in that drill and trap, because I'm like, I've never seen it to where you got young Caucasian dudes and young Asian dudes acting like this. Like, no, I've never seen it until like the last 10, 20 years where they're talking like that, and you would only see that from our demographic. And now you see it from them. I think it's a culture thing. Not a race, not an ethnic. I just think it's a culture thing. I mean, again, he wasn't like that, but people who are, I feel like, are a part of that culture, a sub part of it, to where it's just toxic behavior. So
Yeah, I mean, I think you have a valid point. I don't know.
so you're saying, but you're saying though, you're gonna stick with just like, look, it's institutionalized, it's systematic, and it's more varied reasons than just the music.
Yeah, I mean, at least as far as we can, because I mean, of course, we can do like a social, like a psychological breakdown and be like, okay, like, why is this, like, make it more individualistic and be okay, like, what specifically happened in your past that makes you feel like you can't, that makes you feel like you need to react to this person in different ways? Because people are unique, right? They have different, like, reactions based on past experiences and trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know this guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's definitely something there because, I mean, for context, he didn't mention this context, but like, I mean, he was wearing a suit, right? Literally dressed up nicely and everything, and was outside a wedding venue. And the guy, just assumed malicious intent. I mean, I don't know about you, but if I'm about to if I'm going to a wedding event just to, oh yeah, I heard about it on Instagram or something, I'm going to go tear it up, I'm going to shoot the place. I'm probably not going to be wearing a suit. I'm just going to go in and do that. And I'm not going to ask you where it is.
Yeah, and I'm automatically assumed to be one of those people that I just got it. I'm one of those people I can crash out at any given. You better watch out for me. I was, to your point, I'm not giving that off, but it's like that's in our mind. It's in a lot of people's minds. It's just disappointing. I just wanted to, and again, a lot of the topics we'll cover, it'll go in more into that, but
I mean, to that point, bro, there was a lot of just men, and a black man specifically, that just don't feel safe, and I think that just speaks to the wider issue, right? I mean, like, just from me going to restaurants sometimes with my friends, and they're just like, I'm like, oh, and I sit down and go like, oh, no, wait, I need to sit here. And I'm just like, why? What's up? And he's like, oh, I always need to see the door when I sit down. And that's multiple dudes that too. They was like, oh, I just need to see the door. And it's just like, what? Like, you feel very unsafe, just like in general, right? So,
it could be a lot of times you're growing up in an environment where it's not safe and you're grown around. I mean, you're raised around a lot of like violence and stuff, and that could probably be a stem of it too.
Yeah.
Where you're kind of innocent at first, but then you start seeing a bunch of violence, and then you just have to, So again, I think it's multiple reasons.
Yeah.
From what you're saying, it seems like there's multiple reasons, more than I probably have thought about. But which goes on to my next thing, right? This kind of goes hand in hand. Why do you feel? And at first, you can just say if you agree with this or not, but it just seems to me like a lot of black men and women we put each other down so much, right? Even subconsciously, because listen, what I mean by that too is being on Twitter, on YouTube comments, and being negative, like, oh, look at this Rags, like, look at him, he looking like a clown, he doing this, he doing that, and always clowning, even in a friendly way. Clowning was always a part of growing up culture, like roast sessions, stuff like that. Now, at first, it starts off like that, and that can be perceived as innocent, but I think psychologically, we the only ones that be roasting each other for fun. And we clown somebody for like doing something good for themselves. And there's even memes about that. Like we clown each other for doing something good or positive. And it's like, what is going on? And but it's deeper though too, because even we look at the older people in the industry, you got this person beefing with that person. Kendrick beef. We're known for beefs, bro. Like our black culture is known for beefs. And it's like, why do we put each other down even in a more serious way to where it's direct? It's in the comments, it's attacking someone's page, and then in person. What do you think? What do you think about that whole thing? Do you think we are putting each other down more so than other cultures, or what?
I think that whenever black culture touches something, or like you take a concept, and I think when black culture touches it, it just happens to be more flashy. So, for example, you mentioned the like the Kendrick and Drake beef, right? Mm-hmm. At the core of it, it's like, oh yeah, these niggas fighting or whatever. Mm-hmm. But underneath, it's like these dudes are writing poetry to each other about how they're upset about things, right? And so, like, it's I think it's more so just like an aspect of like it's just more flashier when we do things, right? Or just like, oh man, yeah, like, oh yeah, I brought some nice shoes. All right, well, like, look at this, I'm wearing Yeezys. I'm gonna do all these different things, like. So I feel like that's a part of it, but the tearing down part, and I know this was my answer to the other thing about this dude. I don't want to throw the same answer at it, but I feel like it comes down to that, because you have to put down
It's a root to everything, though.
Yes.
So but I like where you're coming from with this, and this is why I wanted to do the podcast with you, particularly because, and again, what I said about him before is he's very analytical, right? He's able to really, even when we do music, like he'll take something I feel like is simple, and you can make it intricate, and expand on it to where it's very intricate. Like Something Is Coming, we did a song, and he was able to put all these dynamics to the beat that I didn't even know it could be done. So anyway, I like this perspective because, I think it goes to any issue, whether it's mental health, whether it's behavioral problems, you can always find a root to something. So go ahead. I mean, it's okay if it's the same type of answer because I think everything has a root.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I feel like it's the idea of, it's always, how to say this? So you know how every single group has some sort of way of, with humanity, there will always be someone to take a certain trait or something and use that justification to be above other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
For example, like, even though like white people can be like racist against like black people, different things, they still find a way to discriminate against people in their own group who have like red hair. Like, have you seen those old like shows from the 80s and stuff where they're just like, oh yeah, it's a redhead.
I've seen the ginger hair.
Right. And to me, it's just like, that person just has red hair. I mean, otherwise that he looks just like you, So I feel like for black people, it's even more of that because like, oh, I got to make my separation. Now, one of that, so that's part of it, right? The second part.
Wait, so the first part is separating from, like, what is the first part?
Okay.
Defined like.
So how to say this? Let's say let's say that there was a mass shootout happening,
mm-hmm.
right? And they said, oh, a drug deal went wrong and mass shooting happened. What is your first thought?
Drug deal went wrong, that shit happened.
It's on the news. Because I'll tell you what, a lot of black people will think, they'll be like, please don't let it be a black person. Please don't let it be. And you know what?
That wouldn't even come to that isn't even come to
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, definitely.
But
that wouldn't even be.
Okay, but that's what a lot of people think, and the reason why is because it's just like, oh man, like that's going to reflect bad on all of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it's just like a white person that did the shooting, it's just like, oh yeah, I don't know.
No, we're happy. No, we'll be like, oh, thank goodness he's not black.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reaction.
Yeah, and it'll be like, oh yeah, Sarah Connor did this. You know what I mean? And it's the way we get generalized, right? And the more you generalize a group, the more that you want to make separation from it, especially if the generalization is harmful. So, for example, right, like, so it's
that's
just
true.
Right?
I do get separating from a generalization that's bad. I'm talking about within our community, within the different relationships and stuff like that. There's that. I feel like there's a subconscious we be putting each other down. We don't like raise each other up and like, what's up, King, and like uplift and like speak up about people, especially other people. It's like we doing the most gossiping to where whenever we talk about this person, we trying to clown. We're trying to talk about something that he did and put him down.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. Do you feel like that's true or no?
Okay.
Because
I was almost circling around to get to that point, but I think
because I'm trying to because you went on generalizing like our stuff though.
I'll go generalizing. I was gonna bring it down with an example. No, you're good. I mean, it was taking me a while to get here.
Okay, you're good.
Well, okay, so you're just talking about, so you're not talking, so okay, so just to be clear, you're specifically talking about like the positive aspects?
I'm just asking, why does it seem like we be putting each other down, whether it's in music, whether it's in art, whether it's in personal relationships, whether it's in gossiping? That's all. Like, why does it seem like we're always putting each other down, like crabs in a bucket type stuff? That's all. And now, if you don't see it that way, then we can move on because it's something that is that's my perspective on it. That's what I see, but not everyone is going to see it that way. I'm just saying, do you see it that way or no? And if you do, why is it like that? That's all.
I think I want to see it in a self-mandating way. As I was mentioning before, with just the idea of like just basically us always feeling a need to control or like manage people of our own population so that we're not perceived a certain way. But when it comes to the positive stuff, I mean, I've definitely seen that. I think it's really just the idea of, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I mean, look, listen, I agree with you. I definitely see online where it's like always like, it always gets turned into a joke somehow,
Yeah.
Like even that video. Have you seen that bananas and rice video? Oh man. So basically, it was this woman who what'd she say? She was Somalian, and basically, and she's a legal immigrant, but ICE kidnapped her. She was in jail for like a couple of days, right? They did something to her head or whatever, and so she had band-aids on. And so when she was talking, she was just kind of like not. She was like concussed or whatever. So she wasn't speaking very clear, right? So her words are all over the place. And I swipe up, and the thing is, it's just black people just like saying things like. It's like, oh man, like, you know, who let this nigga da da da? Like, oh yeah, niggas can't talk or whatever. Like, oh yeah, of course I get this black person thrown front. And it's just like, you know, it's like you guys, you're not even.
Okay, now wait a minute. now notice here, when I asked him that question, I didn't know about this video, and I also didn't know that we were going to be talking about this. I'm glad that you said that. That's just an example of what I mean, right? Because it's not something that I can pinpoint as an exact description of what the question is. It's not like putting each other down directly. I mean indirectly in ways like that. Because mockery and all that stuff, you putting us down. You putting other people down when you do that. And so you see it. You've seen it. So so basically you're saying, okay, I see it. So is there a reason you think maybe why? Or like what's up with that?
Honestly.
Because you wouldn't want your sister or your friend or to be treated that way. So why you know what I'm saying?
No, you have a very valid point. Honestly, I wish I had the answer to that. I'm honestly not sure. I don't know.
You did this before with the previous question with finding the root. Okay, root. You know what I think?
What?
Now I know you remember growing up, there was always roast sessions, there was always rap battles. There was always.
What are those, boy?
What are those, boy? You cook. Look at your haircut. Oh, look at you. You can't even buy a new shirt. Like you've been wearing the same. Like it's the mid. And that was a huge thing for a lot of inner city, outer city, just kids in general growing up. That's how we were. That's how we found entertainment, by putting each other down. And I know people will be thinking like. We think of it as an endearment thing. We thinking, oh, well, that was just us, you know. But to me now,
not being aware of how it comes off to the rest of the world.
Yeah, not only that, but also you never grow out of that. Like you 20 years old, still in the YouTube and Instagram comments, joning on people and roasting people. I think that's where the harm of it comes in. I think the root of it, just to simplify what I'm saying, is the root of it was when we was growing up and we always having roast session rap battles, and we just grew up roasting the next person. Whoever was poor, whoever had the less stuff. We just found entertainment in that. Maybe that's kids throughout the whole... Maybe it's not a black thing, though. Maybe that's just kids and growing up in America. Because it's not like this in other cultures and in other continents and other places in the world. Not everybody grows up where you're just getting roasted. And that's just the way that you communicate and integrate and, you know?
You're raising a valid point.
Like, that's not normal in other cultures, bro. Like,
that's a valid point.
I think it's American culture. And just from what you said and just rethinking, I think it's an American thing. I'm not going to put that on the black community because every schools be doing that. There's bullies in every school. People will always be doing that. And I just wonder why America in this country and other countries, I'm sure, raise our kids. I mean, the kids are just doing that to each other. I just wonder why. Could be a human nature thing because I'm sure it's been happening all throughout history, but I just hate that. I hate that because it always translates into the next generation, and it translates into adulthood, and people continue that mentality where they put other people down in a more serious ways as they get older. That's why I just hate that. That's why I asked that question, because I feel like it just, people be really hurt by that. They carry that. They can't handle that. Like people be like I be talking to people like, my wife told me about something that somebody said to her when she was a kid. Why are you always wearing the same da-da-da? And it hurt her that she was like pissed off to this day, you know. So it does affect. That's why I'm trying to get to the bottom of these things or figure out why. Maybe make it, you know, just hate that. I remember they used to. This girl one time told me. This girl told me one time. She was like, "The only difference from you than midnight is the moon or something." I don't know, a dark skin joke and stuff. It was stuff like that though. Like I was normal. I mean, I was always roasted. Other people was always roasted. I don't know. I just don't know why we do that. But this goes to like I guess the conclusion of this whole segment, which is like, what do you think we could do as individuals and as groups to fight against our culture's traumas that are being used in the entertainment world? What I mean by that is a lot of things that we're going through boys, I'll give you some examples right off the bat. Boys from Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood, that's obviously profiting and getting entertainment off of the traumas of inner city kids and people in Chicago, New York, people who lived in the streets who had to go ahead and survive and they was getting shot up, whatever. And then you also have, a lot of the drug use, the crack epidemic. We get entertainment off of that. Dave Chappelle was always making jokes about it. Things of that nature, right? Why do you think, I guess this is kind of actually a different topic, but what do you think we could do to like heal from that and like kind of do something about that whole thing and getting entertainment from like our traumas in the entertainment world?
You're talking about moving away from entertainment being based on trauma?
I'm trying, how can we fight back against it to where we're doing something to oppose that? Because I feel like it's a toxic thing to get entertainment from someone else's. Because it not only does it make you make light of it, but it also makes you laugh at it, Because when you're laughing at something, you're not taking it serious or whatever the case. And these are real serious issues that people have. Like, what do you think that we could do as individuals and as a whole, just to kind of start healing that part of our society where we're not getting entertainment and, encouraging that other people's traumas and stuff.
That's implying that we have control over that. That's implying that we have what part of Black culture that we can control.
No, you're right. I'm sorry. That's not a good way to word the question. I meant like in our own individual lives. Because we do have an effect on each individual person, each individual situation, going in the workplace, going in our families. What could we do as far as but you're right though, because that's a huge engine system that's created to do that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why, like, conscious rap is not what's going to get pushed by labels, right? I mean, how much are we in control of, like, what part of our culture is being pushed out, right? The destructive parts is what's going to make money.
This is a wishful thinking question. This is one of those cool vibes. I'm like, oh, what can we do? And it's like, yeah.
I mean,
okay. Is there anything though, like, because we know that that's damaging. It's a very damaging thing, Like we always, and you're right though. The more entertainment things are, the most traumatic. We don't watch movies about people helping each other. We watch Avengers and witchcraft, and we watch people be blowing their heads off, and even me, everybody, like that's what's entertaining. I be watching body cam videos, and sometimes I say this is what I be like, why am I watching this? Like, no, I'm not saying, I'm just be like, this is what I choose. I'm watching somebody getting tased and then biting the cop and then getting dragged out of the car. I'm like, bro, what? I be thinking sometimes. And this is getting millions of views. Of course, that's what's entertaining. I'm like, sometimes it saddens me if that's what entertains me, though. I just wish it didn't. I wish that there was some form of like, whether it's the music or shows or whatever content or things that we're consuming, it's like, it's all just horrible. Stuff. Like when you put it on paper, right? Like, okay, this will give you an example. And I'm sorry, I want you to, I guess I'll get you just your input on it because there's nothing we can do to change it. It is what it is. But I'm saying, if you put on paper, right, a movie scene, father takes his daughter and throws her out the window. Then he slashes his son's neck and then throws him on the ground. Now, when we're watching that, it's like, but like when you put the stuff on paper, the stuff that we're consuming is terrible.
I mean, the whole idea is that it's spectacular, right? It's something that's happening out of the norm, right? And so I think the idea is that, like, if we were to talk about about parts of Black culture that is within the norm, I don't think it'd be entertaining enough to talk about. Does that make sense?
But that's sad, though, because, come on, we're artistic people, and there should be a lot of things that we could celebrate and find entertaining. I mean, think about the sports world and a lot of things that we've done artistically with the Egyptian hieroglyphs and all the different the things that were made and the civilization that the Egyptians had. That's an African part of society, part of the world, and all of the different things that, like the drums that we introduced to music and all these different things. It's like is it really like nothing? We like the only thing interesting about us is the terrible things.
I don't know. I mean,
That's the only thing that they want to show.
I mean, yeah, it's just. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just it's.
You know, like mathematics was created by the Egyptians. Talk about that. Like let's put more spotlight on how these different tribes or whatever it is or cultures or groups. Because I've seen on the History Channel where they'll dive into like the Aztecs and what the Aztecs did and how their culture was like, and it's not.
But that's like news.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Oh,
I feel like nowadays people only consume clickbait. And when I say that, I mean like you click on an article, it is literally just like 3 paragraphs. It is just
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Just garbage. And so, like, you can make these specified, and there are movies stuff. There are movies and things that are specified. That like specifically talk about those things. But like, are they in theaters? No. You might turn on Netflix and it's on there. If you scroll a couple rows down,
it's in the documentary.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's not flashy enough. And I think our brains are cooked.
So basically, we're coming on the entertainment world. I'm going to move on. No, because like it's not realistic. I think I would just say though, as an individual, I always believe in being what you want to see in the world. I've always believed, even though it's cliche, I always believe in being a living example of whatever you think is wrong. So, and being the opposite of that thing. So, if I were to say, like, in the entertainment wise, and not letting traumas being celebrated, I'd say, I wish more artists would celebrate the good things and sing about, because, bro, you can make a song that sounds good about something positive and good. It don't have to be about how your cousin got shot 7 times in the neck. I mean, it doesn't have to be.
But music oftentimes for people is an outlet, right?
Yeah.
An outlet of their issues, right? What's bothering them, right? And so I feel like it's just a natural. It's like you're.
Oh, true. I get that. They're just sharing the story. I get that. It's just like the people who are signing the artists that only get signed and pushed. It just seems like they have the most traumatic story to tell about us. I guess. There's just so much more beautiful parts of our culture that could be entertaining than
game banging.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is like, dang, bro.
No, I mean, I hear you. And I mean, it's just it's really interesting, right? Because these new rappers that are coming out and stuff, they grew up in like nice neighborhoods, gated communities, and all these different things, but they're still talking about this.
And they still talking about it though.
It's just like,
so it's not even like, so that's what I'm saying. You taking the trauma of somebody that actually was going through it, and then you still rapping and going, and you've never lived that. You've never even been through that.
People don't even care if it's true anymore.
No.
It's just like we've removed what made those stories actually like matter and important to have an effect, and just like commodified it. I mean, a good example is Timbaland. You know what he's doing with the stuff with the AI?
No.
Yeah, he's been working, I think, with this company called Suno AI. And he's making like a record label of like AI artists. And the first one that he signed or whatever, is this East Asian AI, right? And she's like, oh yeah, I'd be in the streets and different things like that. And it's just like, so you created an East Asian woman rapping about, an AI East Asian woman rapping about living in the streets and different things like that.
Timbaland's doing this?
Yes! Timbaland, one of the most talented producers, and so it's just and look, people were listening to that joint like, "Hey, bro, I ain't gonna lie, the AI is not it, but it's on fire," and I'm just like, so you don't care about the experience? You genuinely don't care about the experience. You just want to hear about you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all this started was mostly just for communication stuff. When people were rapping hip hop stuff, it was almost like you're telling a story. Hey, here's what's going over here on the West Coast. Here's what's going on the East Coast.
Expression of how you feel about it. Your poetry. It's a beautiful thing. Too,
yeah.
You're making poetry about a bad situation, and you're able to make it not only sound dope, but you're actually telling the story too at the same time. I mean, it's a multifaceted, like a multi-layered thing that I think they were able to do early on in hip hop, early on in music. I mean, even the songs that the women used to sing, the soulful music, it was beautiful. I feel like there was a lot of different artists. Aretha Franklin. I mean, there was some really stuff. It was stuff that was dope too, but it wasn't even as vulgar and as toxic. It didn't have to be talking about like the detailed descriptions of what you do with your
Yeah.
Yeah, women stuff. Uh, um,
Sex and money sells.
on that note, on that note, what could a person, let us say if a person wanted to do this, right? What could a person do to become aware of what they're consuming, mentally and spiritually, and capture their minds back from the explosion of all of this internet and media consumption that's always just putting out the very worst of humanity? But how would one, let's say if someone wanted to, how would someone get their mind back? How would somebody gain back control?
I feel like it's like sensory adaptation, right? So the idea of like, you're getting into the shower, it's hot, and you're just like, dang, let me turn this up more. Let me turn this up more. Your body's keep getting used to it. I think it's just to take a break from it, because the thing is, and we already see people doing this phenomenon. If you go back and listen to some early 2000s music, you're definitely gonna be like, oh, this is kind of wild. Won't you blow my whistle, baby? Whistle, baby.
It wasn't Roddy Ricch. It wasn't Roddy Ricch saying it. It wasn't detail. It wasn't the actual on the nose. It was hinted.
But what I'm trying to say,
listen to it and they wouldn't know what he's talking about.
But what I'm trying to say is that going back to it was enough for me to be like, okay, yeah, wow, I didn't realize this was wild, right? And so I feel like I encourage people to do that same thing today, because what happens, especially in my opinion, just from that entire genre of music, take a break from it, right? Because there might be some lyrics that you're not paying attention to because you're so used to gravitating towards the beat. And
you're saying going back to, I'm sorry, I should have let you finish your thought, because you're just saying that going back to something after you've taken a break from it lets you see things clearly.
Yeah, that's what I was giving the example of, like, early 2000s, right? Because a lot of people today will be like, oh, things weren't like that before, I was like, nah, if you listen to some stuff, it was wild. And like, stuff is like that now too, probably because people don't care about songs get on the radio. For things to get on the radio, you had to like, make it less explicit and write it a certain way, different things like that. But now it's just on Spotify. People don't really care. So yeah, maybe that's why things might be more like explicit now. But yeah, I really think that just taking a break really makes all the difference. Every now and then I get tired of listening to hip hop and all these genres, and I just listen to jazz music. And then when I go back, I'm just like, well, I guess I don't like this artist anymore. I just listen to something else. So it's just...
But I love how you said that, because what it does is it brings clarity to me to where if you ever want to reset, to gain better vision on anything, what you're saying, if you step back, look away, looking back at something, that could go with all areas of life.
Yeah.
Like if you're just hankering on a project for school, or even if you're doing a work project, you just, okay, let me just put it down for a second. And then you put it back to it, it's always a more clear, that's a really, I think, important concept.
And that's why the whole goal is to make sure you're not going away from it, right? Let me keep sending him reels that is even more interesting than the last. Let me keep pushing out an album the moment you get tired of listening to the last one.
And that's
right?
What they do.
It's just about keeping your attention focused on it.
And that's what they're doing. I think it's so funny because their business model is designed to combat that, for you not going away for something, because they know the moment that if we looked away from social media, if there was like an EMP and it just took out everything for like a month and we went back to some of the stuff, a lot of the stuff we wouldn't probably keep, bro. We wouldn't keep it. I'll give you an example of what you said too, about the visual, the reaction you can get from sometimes if you look away. I was at work one time, and mind you, I don't have a Twitter, right? I don't have a lot of social media too, so I didn't know that Twitter shows everything. Like, it'll show a shooting, someone getting shot in the head. It'll literally show anything on Twitter, right? I didn't know this. And this is a lot. So, guy at work, he comes and shows me. He was like, "Hey, bro, look at this. This is crazy." It was an African dude, three African dudes. It was a gentleman. He was running away from this guy because he was banging on his door saying to stop the music. So the guy came out and chased him and his son. The guy and his son there, and then he shoots them. And he takes him out, and then he goes to the dad and he puts one in his head, like right on the camera. Like, I'm seeing this, right? And of course, I remember it to be able to talk to you about it to this day. Mm-hmm. But the fact that was like, it gave me such a horrible reaction. I'm glad I still have that sensitivity, because what happens when we lose our sensitivity to things like that? And sensitivity to just seeing death and a murder in front of you. What happens when we lose all sensory sensitivity? I mean, that kind of scary to think about.
No, yeah, you have a very good point.
I don't know. It just...
I mean, with the stuff we hear on TV today, you know, like oftentimes you'll see like, oh yeah, there was a shooting and 2 people died. A lot of people will be like, oh, that's it. And it's like, those are 2 lives, but you're so used to hearing like, you know, mass destruction. It's just like, oh, that's it.
And I don't know, bro. Like you listen, to me, it's funny though because it's like I know that this may not. It seems like, bro, so what? What are you talking about? But it's like for me, I see it as like an issue though. Like I feel like that's weird. It's wrong. I just wish. I guess I have that wishful thinking. I wish I lived in a world that cared about life more. That cared about that had more of a sensitivity to things. Because think about it. Like you go to different countries. I know there's a lot of African tribes who still stick together. There's a lot of different cultures. Maybe in this Asian culture too, where there's like more of a you see somebody out there, and there's a community trying to help them out, or there's like something raw happens and people are just more aware and they're more like sensitive to it. I mean, what do you think about that whole aspect of our current like Americans, just going off of us, just going off of where we are. Right?
Talking about desensitization and just things
just
like
in general, it's like it's scary to me, bro. Like,
no, man, it is scary. I mean, it speaks a lot about like where empathy is going because I mean, listen, humans can only care about but so much in their lives, and so the more that we are exposed to these things, I feel like the less likely we're going to be, to care about it. But I mean, if you look at historically, well, from a biblical perspective. I mean, reading stuff about Moloch, right?
Oh,
like this stuff is like people were just tossing their babies into the fire and be like, all right, where's my money at, right? And it's like, crazy. And the way that it was talked about was almost as if it was normal, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and everything was like, oh yeah, stay away from this, stay away from that, right? But like, it wasn't spectacular to these people, mm-hmm. right? It might have been like around that time, you might have like it was so common that people common, like yeah, be like, oh, I'm poor, oh yeah, I'm gonna take my baby over there and be like, all right, yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's
even remember in Solomon they he was talking about saw the baby in half because one of the mothers lost their baby and he was like, okay, I'm gonna cut the baby in half and give one to each of you. And then the real mother, of course, is like, nah, and that's how he knew it was a real mom. But the fact is, though. Imagine that to where he could even say something like that and not be canceled. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I guess it's different times and different. So maybe we're just kind of going into a different period of society where that's just kind of like the normal thing. Maybe that's just kind of where we are. We're just at that point of history, at least in this country, to where.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like this in the 80s. That's why I was going to go. That's kind of something. Actually, like on the next point I was going to make is how in 1980s, for example, I have this article right here. Mm-hmm. There was mass protests for explicit content that was out there to curb pornography, to curb sexualization, to curb, all types of things that were kind of coming out that were very vulgar, very, raw. And you had people who were actually cared enough and was sensitive enough to process. Even civil rights, there was a lot of civil rights stuff still going on. I mean, there's a sensitivity to a lot of stuff that's just kind of like whatever now. Mm-hmm. And so I guess I'll go into the next question with that is, if they fought for it back then, why don't we simply care anymore? Like, why don't we see at least as many activists and protests like we used to in the 80s when there was protests against this stuff that was even at a smaller scale? Like, you had raunchy groups and stuff. You had Marlon Manson at that time. It was a lot of stuff that people were doing to this. But why do you think that we don't see it as much as people caring as much?
Well, one could be possibly that we're tired. Mm-hmm. I think people might just be tired of fighting for things because there's always something. The more history we have like recorded of it, the more that people just don't necessarily feel like it's a point, I mean, obviously rallies still happen, protesting still happens, but now we're so exposed to so many issues. It's like, which one? Oh, you want to go protesting for which? You see what I'm saying? I feel like it's not much like oh yeah, this one is getting buzzed. Like this is what's, what I mean? It's always something. You know what I mean? It's big. I mean, of course. This stuff is more prevalent than the 80s issues is because of late stage capitalism, and that's like a separate thing. Yeah. But it's just humans are being human. The human empathy
Yeah, the
is being
capitalism.
stressed thin.
To touch on what you were about to say, the capitalism is probably why they were gonna start allowing so much explicit vulgar thing because it started to become about just the bag. Okay, let me just go ahead and let this go out and flow. Pornography, let it go. Explicit music, let it go. Because it's gonna sell, 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 sell. Do you think that capitalism was probably the reason why everything got so explicit and so raunchy to where it was just gonna sell? Was it capitalism maybe one of the roots of this uprising and all these different things?
Yeah.
Capitalism. All right, it's been EPK. Appreciate y'all on everything. Go ahead and like us. Subscribe.
Nah, bro, for sure. Like it's definitely that. It's very unfortunate, bro. Because
that sucks, bro.
Because the more money these corporations make, other people make, and it's just, I mean, that's literally the social system that we're in. The economic system that we're in. So
yeah, you can't. There was a woman that worked for Amazon, and she left because she saw how they designed their websites to just get people to buy. She was like, wait, there's a lot of things about the concept of the way our business model is running to where it's like, nah, this ain't right. It's not sat right with my conscience. I mean, especially with the destruction of the world, with the environment that is causing all these different waste products and stuff to build up in the ocean and all that too. She was saying is like, not only that, but then you have just the blind purchasing, and they're messing with people's minds to buy. They're design there's people who work as part of the company to do that.
We're living in a live service game.
What's that? Live service?
Live service game.
Live service.
Yeah, so basically games like Fortnite or I guess Call of Duty.
Oh,
it's just like
gosh, bro.
Basically it's like you don't own the game, but the entire idea is that it's like, okay, this game is entirely taking place on a server, and we're gonna keep releasing content, and you're just gonna keep buying it. That's the life of the game.
I hate.
But the whole kill is you don't own anything.
Yeah.
When those servers go offline, all the money you put in is gone.
What is the server? You remember we used to get a game though, and I know everybody. Chris probably like you get a PS2, PS3 game, bro, or Xbox game, and then like you own it though. Like, and not only that though, but it's like a start to finish story game. Like there's not a lot of story modes anymore, just like that. And when you play on multiplayer, it's just a simple little thing, and it's like that's it though. It was just like simplicity of it, but
now Black Ops, it's not even on disc.
Yeah, so basically you're saying that the game is just like an online thing, and it's just like you can play online and they're keeping adding stuff more, but it's no like single player. There's no side stuff or anything.
It's just the idea of like you're just constantly being fed. Like it's just like, how to say this. If you pick up a video game, right, and it's not live service, it's just local like it used to be. You play it, it's complete, and it's like, oh wow, okay, I'm satisfied. Putting it on the shelf.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But like live service it's never that way, right? It's like, oh, do this, do that. There's like, oh yeah, well, you can actually unlock this really difficult weapon to get, but the weapon will require you 7 days to unlock to get enough money to purchase it, or you could just give us real world money and we can give you it right now, right? Just all these things are set up to make us spend more money, to make us spend more time, and it's just, you know what I mean? We're playing along. I mean, not to get like depressing or whatever.
Yeah, no, it's not.
But that's what it is. It's lazy capitalism. I mean, think about it, right? I mean, like it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a law. We're gonna ban that, because you remember in the '90s candy, we both grew up with it because like early 2000s kind of overlap with it. Where it's like those candies that look like cigarettes. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Literally, it's like advertising candies that look like cigarettes. Yeah.
Cigarettes,
right? And it's like, oh, you can't do that anymore. And they're just like, okay, well, now we come out with vapes, and these vapes have really good flavors. We're going to advertise those to kids. It's just constant, like that's what I'm saying, live service. Yeah. Oh, we're going to drop something else. Oh, that ran into this lifespan. What else can we do? Yeah. Again, going back to the picture, keep you locked in.
I mean, and that's the thing too, locked in on the spending. But see, that's the thing. Corporate greed has always been a thing, and it's always been where we know that capitalism is always a problem. I just don't think people understand the level that it's escalated.
There's more ways for it to reach you.
It's just you can't
look away anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, look, bro, you have a music app on your phone.
Yeah.
Its goal is to play music.
Yeah.
But an ad pops up when you click one of the songs on your phone. What is that? What is that? I'm trying to listen to the local files on my phone.
There was exactly local files too. I'm trying to get away from that. It reminds me. I swear I saw a movie or something where this was like the Black Mirror. This really feels like Black Mirror in real time. Have you heard of that show?
Yeah.
We're living in Black Mirror now to the point where it's really no distinction anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is why, and I'm not trying to get on that tangent. What I'm trying to genuinely get into is certain things that an individual, that's why I wanted to ask you these questions, is what can an individual do to protect themselves a little bit, to get away from these things a little bit? Because you said before, one person could just take a break from it. Take many breaks, as long as you can. Take those breaks, please. Like this is the whole point of, honestly, this podcast, because I want to make sure I emphasize that. Please take breaks off of this stuff. Because it's just you're not going to even know that you're, in it until you look away from it for a little while. To his point, we gotta look away a little bit from this stuff at certain times. Give yourself a break, even from spending, even from the games, even from the movies and shows, whatever we can do, because we're really losing our humanity at this point. I mean, people are like, well, what's so bad about that? It's like,
if you're asking that question, you already lost. That's also what it is at this point.
Because you're gonna have somebody like, oh, who cares? You talk about humanity. What are you supposed to be? That's the type of attitude that's creating this desensitized way of living. To where if you ever have a kid or somebody has a 5-year-old, you want that to be their example. You want that to so now they growing up with real emotions and real attention span to where they want to connect with you. They want to spend time with you. They want to be present with you. Your presence is gone. Your attention span is gone. So you're not even able to give a child. That's why this stuff is important to me, because children are coming up innocent to all of this, bro. And there's still a lot of young 5-year-olds out there, 2-year-olds that are craving attention, that are craving real human interaction, craving real things, aspects of this life that shouldn't be robbed from them. Just because we want to go ahead and just disassociate from our responsibility to do our part, at least to try to.
Yeah.
Because.
I mean, those kids are hooked up the moment from they're born, bro. Give them an iPad. Literally hooked them up.
Actually,
just
never mind, because
they never had a chance, bro.
Never mind, because they have an iPad,
bro. Like there's bro, like it's crazy. It is like, I mean, especially at that point, bro. I mean, I go places and I see like a parent, sometimes a parent just like walk around the grocery store not paying attention to the kids, just listening and headphones that joint. Mm-hmm. I walked by and there was a kid that was just like, that kid looked small, like maybe like, I don't know, maybe 5 years old or something. And it's just guys on the screen going like this. And I was like, I bet that parent has no idea what he's watching. I bet that YouTube video was on autoplay and it just got worse and worse.
Oh, the dude was doing the thing?
Yeah, it was like some dude did like gun stuff on the screen. I was like, bro, like, how are you plugged in this early? Like, that's crazy, dog.
And that's going to be that kid's normal. Like, his normal. If your normal is watching somebody and probably with the lyrics or the captions probably saying, I'm going to do this to this person, do that. If that's like your normal, then what is going to be able to excite you? You have to go a level above that. You have to watch somebody like Terrifier 3 is a good example. That's how we've escalated even in the horror movie genre. Like, that stuff is just completely the most visual, gory stuff. But that's what we need. It's like you always need a next level of stimulation. Like the last stimulant wasn't enough. Just like drugs too. You need more. So if we're already if our base level is just this much capitalism, this much, that's what I'm saying. We should not be always so objective to certain things that could help us, whether it's spiritual discipline, whether it's discipline, listening to another elder, whether it's gaining feedback on how to become a better person, whether it's therapy, whether it's anything. Like, we need to start paying attention to it. I mean, this goes due to that's why I wanted to ask you this one thing. And this is talking about relationships. Okay, this is like just one of the last things before I get into the fun question.
Okay.
All right, but the last thing, because this can go, is like it's been proven that the media and all these things that we're talking about can alter one's perspective on in a relationship for men and women.
True.
Men and women can be like, okay, I want to chase you because of the money, the status, or I want to chase you or I'm interested because of something else, something that's surface level though. These surface level things, like the pop the balloon challenge. All they're talking about on there is what do you do and how much you made, or then the guys are just looking at the girl and we're just physical. We're just carnally thinking and processing. So what do you think that Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
as unplugged as you are, I'm so surprised when you know things like that.
because you can't get away. Because think about it.
Like, have you seen that?
There's with certain things you can get away from so much, right? Because like, let's say I'm uploading my stuff, I'm seeing all that. Like when I'm chilling with my wife, for example, part of our quality time is watching certain things, and maybe something like that comes on, you know. But again, I'm with her though. Like that's the only way I'm gonna. But if I'm like, nah, bro, no, I don't. But yeah, I do. I've seen the Pop of the Bloom. Like they put that on the front of anything on YouTube though.
Fair.
Like they want you to watch.
That's very true. It even got its own Netflix show.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's wild.
And the things that we're asking about, you know,
popping off.
Popping off is crazy. But like, no, but bro, it's it's like always like, oh, what do you want to do in your career? But it's never anything like, I feel like character based, where it's like, so, you know, are you interested in, you know, the questions, the questions are just so surface level questions. With career, what are you doing? What do you know, it's like, bro, what about the heart? What about what this person, how this person sees reality, how this person, you know, treats people and people that aren't their immediate family members, like what type of time this person is really on. So I guess the question is, what do you think would be a better incentive? If you think that there would be a better incentive than just like surface level stuff that we as men and women are like looking at in relationships these days, what do you think is a better incentive to be with somebody? Because we're being with people because of all the things we mentioned. What is a better incentive maybe to be with somebody? Maybe something different to look for.
That's a valid point. I mean, the thing is, it's just like the stuff you just mentioned is like some of those stuff have valid points based on statistics, right? I was taking a lot of sociology classes because I was considering having a sociology minor, but I decided not to. Would maybe stay longer. But
why didn't you do it?
Huh? Why did I stay longer? I hated college. I just couldn't do it, bro. Like it was just, I don't know, just the idea of just something's always needing to be turned in. I mean, like even now, sometimes I wake up because I'm having nightmares about the fact that I have an assignment to turn in. It's just,
that's why I went to the military. Right. I didn't even want that. So that makes sense. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, but you know, money wasn't always necessary, right? Or that big of a deal. I feel like it's become more big of a deal now because of the climate that we're in. I mean, for a couple to make, we look at the red numbers?
Yeah.
What is it?
Sure. I just don't want to go too far. We're perfectly on time.
Okay. Looking at the numbers, they say that for an average household to like live a comfortable life, like the median household income needs to be like 160K or something in Maryland, maybe more.
Oh my God.
And the thing is about it is that like that is very unreasonable.
Bro,
it's very reasonable.
That's ridiculous. Like, that's going to put you in 10-15% of the country's salary wise.
Right. But like the thing is, like, stuff used to be more affordable. I mean, all these different stuff, right? I mean, my grandfather used to tell me about the fact that, actually, I don't even need to reference my grandfather. People used to be able to hold up households through one income alone. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so like the idea that we've progressed more to like thinking of money as like a necessity is also somewhat valid because based on statistics, one of the main drivers for divorce is money troubles and money issues, right? When you don't have anything, you start going at each other. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, and it would be far, and I guess it'd be ignorant of me to be like, oh, you know, as long as you have God, you'll be fine. Because things are more nuanced than that, obviously.
That goes to my next question. That's literally going to be my next question.
It's more nuanced than that.
I'm tying all this in, but yeah,
but you know, but the whole thing is that like it's just, if there was a focus, it would need to be on what is your thresholds, right? Like for example, what is your personality like when you are at the worst, right? Mm. What is your coping mechanism when you are at the worst, right? Like I think learning these extremes is more important because the extremes are the only times that you're going to have issues.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everything's always fine when it's baseline. You know, when you're fine, you're fine. But you're right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the only time where you're going to need to really, you know, I never really thought about it that way, though. Your extremes are the only time you're going to need to.
Yeah.
That's the only issues that you're going to have in your relationship is the extremes.
Yet, like, I have
That's
friends.
crazy.
Yeah. Yet I have friends who are on dating apps and guys will DM her and, like, the first thing they say, oh, you cook and clean? How much money you make? And it's just like,
See,
I don't know.
I'm
like,
not crazy. See, even though I know we know a lot of stuff that's going on, see, he gives me the examples of what I'd be like, you know what I'm saying? And it's real. This is really happening.
yeah, you know what I mean? I don't know. And it's just like, I don't know. Like, what's your, I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just, like, there's so many questions that I feel like would be more relevant to the majority of you dating that person than this. Like, oh, do you cook and clean? I mean, that's something you guys can have a conversation and work on, right? Like, all these deep-rooted childhood traumas and how you respond to things. I mean, those are things that, like...
How'd you grow up, maybe? It's maybe like, how'd you grow up? Like, what was your childhood like? You know, how do you feel as a person in this life? Do you feel like you're happy with the current state of, you know, things? Just, I don't know, just certain things, or even like the core, like, okay, what do you believe in? Do you believe in possibility of a creator out there or not? Or what do you believe? Do you believe in the spiritual? Like, a lot of those type of conversations can actually spark knowing something deeper about that person.
Exactly.
You know, sometimes it's just like something outside the box can really help you understand where that person is, because you're right, the extremes are going to bring out that person. And instead of getting into an extreme bad or good situation to where you see someone come out where they can't handle too much money, they can't handle a great thing, or if they can't handle a terrible thing, instead of getting that extreme, maybe we could find something out before then. Like, I don't think we're preparing ourselves.
No, I agree.
For those extremes.
I mean, it's crazy, man, because, I mean, the whole goal is to fish out, like, red flags and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, on Pop the Balloon, it's like, okay, you're like, oh, yeah, you know, that works. And it's just like, you didn't, like, what?
Yeah, they're like, oh, I kept the balloon because he seemed nice and she seemed good. Like, she seemed like she cool and she can hold a conversation. Oh, that's the standard that we're bringing ourselves down to, is just because she was cute and she can hold the conversation and that she seemed like she cared about my job and she answered. Like, bro, it's more than, like, because I think it's subconsciously teaching people to have a pop your balloon type of a standard. Don't have a pop your balloons.
Bro, because, like, part of the issue as well is that, like, why are we seeing people's stats? Like, people seeing people's stats ahead of time is insane.
Yo.
Because you're supposed to ask these questions. Like, what? Like, it's just, it's crazy, bro.
Yeah, the
it's
stats thing,
insane,
I mean, it's like, no, because you're taking the humanity out of people. You're not even allowing people to have, let's say there's something that you don't like about somebody. Give that person the opportunity to grow out of it, maybe.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe that's what you're there for.
Change.
Yeah, maybe you're there for to help seeing something that you don't like, and then maybe you guys are actually going to be able to look back and say, wow, that's part of our story, to where you had this issue or I had this issue, and we both was able to help each other out with the things that we struggle with. That was pretty much typically, that's how it is with raising kids. I mean, we don't say, oh, we don't throw our kids away when we see bad traits about them. Part of unconditional love and love in general, relationship love too, should be, oh, let me go ahead and make sure that, you know, I don't completely just have a standard to where it's like, you either have everything I want or I'm not interested.
And, you know, it is crazy, bro. It's just like, bro, like, asking a dude, oh, yeah, how much you make? He's like, oh, well, like, 40K. And then that's just, I'm done, right? Yeah. But if they ask you, oh, okay, well, what do you plan to do in the future? Well, actually, I'm in law school right now.
Yeah, I'm in law school right now.
We never get that far. You're just like, all right.
I have great patience and I have a great support system. Nah, you didn't get there. We just go to, maybe what that is like looking at the result, like looking at like, so you know there's a process to everything, right? Mm-hmm. What is the end of the accomplishment? So yeah, you're looking at like the accomplishments or the what they have or what they, you know, but we don't realize that everything is a process, I think, sometimes, and like the journey is more important than the result. So if they have 80,000, it doesn't matter how they got the 80,000 that you're interested in or that 100,000. What if they got it or inherited it and they're a bum? And you don't know that though because they got the 100 bands that you wanted, but they a bum, but you don't know that was how. But go through the person's story, their journey. And if you have somebody who's broke, if you see that their journey shows the character of somebody who's a billionaire or they had that mentality of a billionaire, maybe that's worth sticking around for. But I don't know. I just feel like we don't even get there.
Nah, bro.
So this goes to my next question, right? Stats. We talked about
stats, bro. Taking them at face value.
You know, sometimes I just don't know, man. I wonder how we got here.
We're cooked as a species.
I mean, that being said, right? Like, it's like, we know we're cooked, right? Everyone, like, let's be real, we're cooked. But it's like, why would God allow this evil, this... Because a lot of people are just getting just completely manipulated. Innocent people, genuinely ignorant, not ignorant in a bad way, but ignorant people, ignorant to what's going on around them, ignorant to the traps that people have set for them when it comes to the materialism and getting people to buy. There's people innocent who are just caught in this trap of life, of this consumerism and all these different things, and these things that they have no control over and that they're consuming, and this is it's evil, right? It's just the evil world. Money is the root of all evil, I believe, and we see the result of that. And my question to you is,
this value. It's not even backed by gold anymore. It's literally just paper.
I mean, yeah, we don't even own, like, all the stuff that we have it's just off of some like idea. It's off enough idea now.
It's actually not even anything physically. It's just a digit in your phone.
Yeah, it's an idea that this is, I have $100.
This has value because they're telling you, bro.
Like, that's... This is too much to even... Like, I mean, like, dang, bro. Like, what? But why would he allow this? Like, why would he allow a world like why would he allow it to get like this?
I mean, it's not what free will is.
See,
the idea that we're choosing for ourselves.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna give my answer last, but it's just funny that that's literally exactly.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, the idea, like, if we, because even going back to the Garden of Eden, be like, well, why was the tree of knowledge there? Right? I mean, you can't really have freedom of will. Love doesn't actually mean anything. Care doesn't actually mean anything unless you have a choice, right? And so I think that's really what the base of it is. You know, all this destruction is caused because humans wanted to cause this destruction. Would you feel like you are actually in control of your life and doing all these different things if every single thing was like, let's say you're like, oh man, like, man, what's like something simple? Be like, oh yeah, let me turn on the TV today, then the remote just gets slapped out of your hand. Okay, I guess I'm not watching TV today. Let me go drive my car. Oh, the wheels just suddenly deflated. I guess I'm not driving my car. I mean, like, that's not, you wouldn't really, it just doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, that's just not what he promised us, right? He gave us free will and we're doing the best that we can to screw it up.
Now, but exactly, but I think that we can both agree, those same people that asked that question, it's like this. Have you ever done something bad to somebody? Let's say you lied to them or you stole from somebody. Everyone's done something to somebody that will cause harm, right? And that person suffered the impact of that said action or thing that you said or did. What we're experiencing is pretty much just a bunch of different, like a huge conglomeracy of all of these different bad decisions other people have made throughout history or in our current society that we're affected by. God isn't doing it to anyone. Like, he's not doing, it's like we as a whole, on a micro scale, I did it to that person. I lied to Jenny. On a higher scale, this CEO is causing billions of gallons of pollution to be put in our food. It's like that. It's like your micro bad, though, does not take away from the fact that your micro bad is a part of why we deal with the society that is just inherently bad, completely bad and evil type thing. You know? It's like we cannot blame a creator that will give us free will to, you know, that it's something like that. It's no.
I mean, it's true. And I mean, I think the thing is that, like, if you did, what's so funny is that humans, bro, we hate the idea of dictators. For good reason, obviously. But then you act like you want God to be one.
Yeah, they want to.
Like, it's like, bro, like, look at the Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Like, when he stepped in, I mean, obviously the place was wild, right? Like, those angels disguised as men walked up in there, and then everyone in town banged on the door and basically said, "Let's the dude," right? You might have to bleep that out. but like,
you want to be in charge of editing? He's gonna be in charge of editing. He want to talk crazy. Go ahead.
But like, in the result of it, right? And the result was like, all right, God, like, he was just like, all right, we're just gonna destroy all this, right? We're like really gonna destroy the city. But even then, right? Like, who was it? Was it Lot that was begging God to like not destroy the city? Abraham.
On Lot's behalf, because you know Abraham was like, no, don't do it, and God was like,
right. But even then, he was just like, oh, please don't do it, right? Please don't do it, right? But it's just like, bro, like, if you saw a country that was doing something horrible, and then you saw the U.S. just drop a nuclear bomb on it, what would you say? they'd be like, that's
and
inhumane.
There would be people, oh, how could you do that? It's like, bro, so we got mad at God for the flood, right? And people are like, God's so cruel for doing the flood, right? But it's like, okay, but so you want him to have discipline on evil, but then when it affects you because you're a part of evil, then it's a problem because he's doing it to you. You're part of the evil. It's like, it's never, you can't win. Because you can't punish evil without punishing us. Mm-hmm. We are all evil in a micro or higher scale. So it's like, and I feel like it's so beautiful the fact that he's able to, instead of just in his anger, because he hates evil. If you are inherently good in all ways, if you are the pure form of good and love, you're going to hate every aspect of evil. I'm just so glad that he was able to separate his creation to the fact that I'm able to do something about the evil that is conjoined to this creation and punish that, and also have a way to where the creation itself can have a way of escape. And I just feel like that the reason why I asked you that is because I hate the way that they talk about my Brody, and they always be talk crazy like, how could he this and what is he doing with that? And you want him to have this vigor against all the wrongs that's happened in your life. We want to have that vigor against him, just correcting everything right away. Like, stop everything now. Like, let it, just stop it. Like, just come back already or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. And we don't know that, like, there's such a higher level of thought that comes from a creator like God would be, the Abraham God. So yeah, he's like, that's a good example. It's
he
like,
downloaded all that information into his brain and man's literally couldn't take it. He was like, I can't comprehend, what am I looking at right now?
Yeah, he's like, did you make the seas? Did you do this? Like, bro, we got to trust the process. But also, I feel like we've lost that humility to where we're allowed to let there be something outside of our own
humility. Humbleness is not part of our culture.
It's just not. There is a higher form of life, though, that knows more than us. Like, we cannot think that we know more than God to where we would be like, do this now, or why would you let this? And, bro, you are a humble human. Like, bro, it's like an ant to a human. Like, the level of thought you cannot even contain in our own. We can't even contain a fraction of the wisdom that he like. And that's why I asked you that, because I knew that you would respond with wisdom, and I'm like, just to hear it from someone else is refreshing. But yeah, I just think about that question a lot that people ask. How dare we ask such things when we ourselves are clearly the cause of the evil and the bad and all these different things that we...
I mean, I feel like the question is understandable. I mean, there has been a lot of cases in the Bible where people ask God, why is things the way they were? I think it's the book of Habakkuk in terms of... Oh, sorry, what was that?
Well, Job did too. He was asking.
Right? So it's like understandable, but like...
Yeah, it is understandable. I think that is very... I should be more... I mean, it is very understandable.
Oh, I mean, I know you weren't like downplaying...
I wasn't trying to downplay. No, you do have that question, you're right.
Yeah.
It is very understandable because...
Yeah. I think it's really just the idea of just like, I really think it's just doesn't... It's just, I feel like it's a whole nother thing where we're blaming God for these reasons when it's just like what's right in front of us, right? I mean, I think it's almost like the way that we fight each other and argue each other about all these things when it's just like, I mean, at the end of the day, that's the corporations causing this stuff and different things like that.
Yeah.
I guess it's one part keeping your eyes set on things, but also like, I don't know. Part of free will is giving us the choice to come to him, right? Seeking salvation, all that stuff. And I feel like, man, I feel like that's another conversation. I feel like because I feel like that could,
because we're gonna close with this, of course, before the fun question. But it's like the reason why, and I want you to say what you're about to say, because the reason why this isn't even a video is because I'm just trying to highlight something that's very prevalent, like something very obviously bad. Like these things that we're talking about, there's something that affect every one of us every day. This isn't just some one person's opinion or this affects all these things that we talk about affect everyone's lives every single day. And there are ways to live with hope, to live with joy, to live with peace when you are open to maybe different ways of life, maybe different ideas, maybe different belief systems. It's like there are things out there or lifestyles or God, there's God out there that there's different ways, man. There's different things that you can add to your life that. So that's why I want to know what you were going to say when it comes to.
You summed it up.
Okay. Because, like, it's not hopeless when look, bro, There is nothing new under the sun. That's what the wisest man on earth, King Solomon, said. There's nothing new under the sun. They were always dealing with a society where there's greed that's rampant. There's famine that's rampant. There's all types of horrible, corrupt things. This ICE stuff and all these different problems that we're just so consumed. And you said something important earlier. You was like, we're just so overstimulated and there's so many problems where like, I don't know, I can't move, you know? You don't need to. You know, I don't think none of us need to. If you can lean on a higher source of power, something stronger than you. That's what we need. How about we humble ourselves just a little bit so we can lean on a higher source of power? And it's the beautiful thing to like a child-parent relationship to where the child is it's going to overbear a child to know all the things that they have to do, take care of the house and all that. The parent says, I got it. Trust in me. I mean, that's all God ever really be asking his people is to trust in him, to leave all that stuff out there. Trust me enough to not look at Instagram today. Trust me enough not to look at the news today. I got it. I'll take care of that situation, this situation in Venezuela, this situation in Asia, all these things that are troubling you. Let me take care of that. Don't even look at it. Don't even pay attention to it. No, it's not making yourself ignorant of it. It's letting me handle it because it's going to stress you out. But he's always looking at those things and he's always taking care of those things. Like, I just want us to have a childlike trust in him again. Go back to having a childlike trust where we're okay with just putting all that stuff aside and not killing ourselves with the mental anguish that comes with it.
I'd say this much. I think before anybody starts the question of like, oh, why would he create a world that? And why would he let things be this way? I think it's good to note the original intention of this. And the idea of the Garden of Eden, I actually discussed this in my video, The Hunger, right? Of the idea of like, why are we always unsatisfied?
Yeah.
My last YouTube video. It's just the idea of that when humans are created, we weren't really created to want or actually more so need anything, right? In the Garden of Eden, like fruit, the earth would just obey us, right?
It's not created to be like this.
Right, you see what I'm saying? We wanted the tree of knowledge, right? But like everything in the Garden of Eden, that was everything we could have possibly needed, right? That is the way that the world was meant to be. That is the world that he created. Mm-hmm. Humans created the world that it is today, right? Not only always needing something, but always wanting something.
It's unsatisfied.
Literally,
you can't satisfy.
So it's like, oh, why would God create the world? No, that's literally not the blueprint that he intended. Like, we got kicked out, and we will never see that again. You know what I mean?
Very well said.
Yeah,
very well said. Because I think that's lost in translation a lot of times. You know, I think we are a very defensive species to where we never want to take accountability for our part of stuff. Even
defensive is right, bro.
On a relationship level, on a life level, we just don't take accountability. So, look, I'm glad that I'm just gonna let the air flow with that because I think that you said it, you closed it the way it should be. It's all of this is just trying to like help us all to see a better like a different way of thinking sometimes. And I think your piece of advice, which is to just take a break from stuff and then just to come back from it, is the biggest thing when it comes to just the mass wave of things always coming at us. Like I got a friend right now, bro. He's saying like I asked him about something and he was like, man, I don't even want to do that. I don't even want to go and like something that we was interested in, like whether it's a podcast or whether it's getting something started what he wanted. He's just so down about what's going on in the world that he don't even want to do it. He's so down about it. It's like it kills me because and we've talked about it too. It's like we were never meant to carry the burden that so much of this stuff that's getting fed to us. We weren't meant to carry that. We're not even able to. It's just not realistic. And turning some of this stuff off, I feel like it's just the best course, even just for a little while, man. Because I hate to see people in pain. Like, that's the biggest thing. I hate to see somebody tell me that when I know that something could be done about it, whether it's cutting it off or, like, it's just like... Yeah. But, fun question, though. Just in closing, I just wanted to ask him this little fun question because I love how the scripture sometimes adds layers to its messages. You know, you get a story, but then there's like, what? The angel said this, though, and there's that meaning to that thing or whatever the case. For example, before I get into the fun question, did you know like that the first 8 people, their names of the Bible, their names mean something and it's a sentence formed from their names? The disparaging man appointed mortal sorrow. So the Son of Man will come and give rest to the disparaging. Like it's like something. I would encourage anyone to look into that. The first 5 or 10 names, I'll show you after the video, of the names mean something. So it'll add its layers to scripture.
Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
For real, for real. So there's layers, and I love the layers. And so this is one of the questions, right? The final question is, I want to know what you think about it. So it says, there's at 1 Kings 19. Elijah is running from this person that's trying to kill him. He's a prophet of God, trying to do his thing, and then somebody's trying to kill him. And so he's waiting to hear from God, basically. And God says, go out and stand on the mountain before the Lord. And behold, the Lord passed by, and a great and strong wind tore into the mountains and broke the rocks in pieces before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still small voice. And then he spoke through that still small voice, even though after he passed by, there was a fire, earthquake, and all that. Why did he choose to like speak after? Like, what was the point of that little thing he did? Like, because God does everything for a reason. Why would he have like a fire and an earthquake and a strong wind to appear before he spoke? Or is there any significance you think in that? Because I always think it's like, why did he do that? Like, why did he speak through a still small voice after all that? Or could he have spoken through the big stuff? I don't know, like that. Do you understand the question?
Yeah, you're saying that he did all these big things. Right.
He did all these big, loud things, and then he spoke and it specifies, it says still small voice. So you're specifying these loud, rambunctious things, and then you saying that he spoke in a still small voice, though.
I mean, in a poetic sense, maybe it just speaks to the idea of like, listen to me throughout the chaos. Maybe it's just the idea of like, you know, showing all these things that might, how to say this? All of those things are scary.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the idea of like, look at all these things that can cause destruction. Look at all these things that you might fear. Look at these things that the earth might like, because some of them sound like kind of almost like natural disasters and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Yet after all that, it's just like a calm voice. I think it's the, you know, I don't. I mean, this might be a little bit far fetched, but just think about like, especially the sociological. When there are so many loud things happening, if you're in a room and you want to get someone's attention, you just speak softly. And it always gets someone's attention.
Yeah.
You know? And
but that's true psychologically and everything. Yeah.
And it's just, I wonder, and I mean, look, he created humans, right? He knows the hacks. So like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But, you know, I think is that part of it too. But I think that's also the other idea of just like, of calmness, right? After you're tense, you can relax after that. And I feel like a lot of times biblically, when people are talking to God, or when they first hear from God, or their first, like, or angels or whatever, it's always, be not afraid and all these different things, right? They're just so like nervous about what's going on. It's just boom, 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 boom. So what I want you to do is, right?
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? It's like, so you could view it as an entrance, you could view it as this and that, but the idea of it all, I think, is really just like you can have solace. I'm coming to you with something that's calm, and like, despite like what is happening to you, you know what I mean? Like, amidst all the chaos, like, look, you're being chased, everything else, but I am talking to you, not with a sense of urgency in my voice.
Yeah.
I am talking calm to you. And if you know that I am relaxed, you should be too.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, maybe that's how God really is instead of the monster we think he is. Maybe he is just that calm after the storm and that relaxing, grounding, calm voice and presence.
You know what's funny about that? I'm sorry. Maybe you wanted to end this.
No.
But
I meant on whatever you're about to say.
Okay. What's so funny about that is that everyone tries to be like, oh yeah, the Old Testament, you know, like he was wild and all these different things. If you actually read it, like all those things were like last resorts, right?
Oh,
I mean, like all that crazy stuff
man.
about like the rules that he was giving the Israelites, you know, that were free from Egypt and all that stuff. Like that was a last resort. They were wild, and some of them were just like, yeah, bro, this ain't it. I want to go back to being a slave.
They didn't want
like,
to be good, bro.
You know what I mean?
Understand? God shows them people were not good.
It was multiple failure after failure, and he was just like, you know what? I have to be strict. I'm gonna implement these crazy laws because you guys just need discipline. These are here because you just need discipline. Like at this point, right? So it's just like, and people are like, oh yeah, he's what? Like no, like this is like a last resort. Like even against Sodom and Gomorrah, like if you
that was the last resort too.
That's it,
He would have saved the people for if it was one. Like it was like it was like 5 people or whatever.
They didn't even show us Gomorrah. They just talked about Sodom.
Sodom was wild.
They didn't need to show Gomorrah. They're just like, no, we're just destroying it. You don't even need to know. Just know that like it was wild enough.
The fact that the word sodomy and sodomite came from a place is crazy to me. Yeah. Like imagine if they invented a word that means some aggressive act or thought or whatever action or whatever the case or from a place it's known for it. Like what? But yeah, definitely. I agree. We don't look at the context. We just assume. We just emotionally respond. Take one verse and be like, oh, he's terrible. Like I heard this girl one time say, I don't believe in the Bible because of the burning bush. Like he can't speak out of a burning bush. There's no way that he'd be able to do that.
That's what she chose to not believe the Bible from?
Yeah.
Not a guy dying and coming back to life?
Yeah, and it being witnessed by people and all that. Not any of that.
No, it's like, out of all the supernatural stuff in the Bible, she chose...
It was the burning bush, though, that did it. It's like, nah. I can't. But anyway, we're going to wrap this up. We out here, bro. I appreciate you so much for doing this, bro, and spending your time. Really, really appreciate it. Just trying to help people. That's what we're always trying to do.
Of course. Thanks for having me on, man.
If there's anything else that you want to say to anybody or anything, or any last message that you have?
I would say that don't put pressure on yourselves. I feel like a lot of people, when they have faith in God and all these different things.
We're going to do the closing like this because the camera had technical difficulties. So anything you want to drop in to the guys?
I just want to say that we talked a lot of complicated things, right? Regarding relationship with God and stuff. And you guys just need to understand that sometimes things are more nuanced, right? We shouldn't be looking at everyone with such critical eyes and just judging people and all these different things, right? The world's a complicated place. Humans are complicated beings. And I really think that what we need to focus the most is on a relationship with him and just love, you know?
The simple relationship, bro. We out here,
AGK on them.
Peace out.
Yeah. Stuck in the vacuum, out of space, can't breathe. Though to tank away from me, take away pressure from the people, free to breathe. Pressure God's people for the demons known to be. Humans self-proclaimed, so the devil let us be, let us speak. Harm to our community. There's no unity, one church fallacy.